helped me. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rebecca. It helped me improve my presentation skills while reviewing that. So as Rebecca said, my name is Augusto Kangawala. I'm a principal for Sinuria Consulting. But before I joined this wonderful organization, I was a colleague, Rebecca, Amanda, and Drew were my colleagues at the Administration for Children and Families. And we work closely to improve services for our grant recipients and also for our um, grant recipients and also for the beneficiaries. So we worked together in a wonderful organization that we feel very much still strongly attached to, and I had the pleasure to meet them in that capacity. But now that we have all transitioned into the private sector, we are still connected, very much aligned in our values and in our objectives to help the community, to support our friends during their career transition and beyond. So very excited to be here sharing a topic that is very much close to my heart, which is networking. And I will hopefully that will be useful to you in your journey, either at the moment or in the future. So I hope that, as Rebecca mentioned earlier in the presentation, during the session, that you get some good takeaways. Either you're a seasoned pro at networking or you're just getting comfortable with the concept of doing that. And this is, let me mention that this session is focused on in-person networking, which it can be a little bit challenging for some folks. And I know we have gotten very used to communicate virtually, communicate through social media, through email, or these platforms that are wonderful, like Zoom or Google Meet. But sometimes in-person networking can feel a little intimidating, a little awkward. And I hope that with these few tips that we'll share throughout this presentation, you will feel more comfortable about this topic. So let me get started sharing my presentation. And yeah, looking forward to connecting with you all after this and hopefully later down the road. So during the presentation, feel free to send send your questions to chat so we can address them as we go along. And there will be obviously some time at the end for some more, discussions if that's desired. So let me start sharing my screen. Can everybody see the presentation? All right. So this the topic that we are covering today is master your network, personal branding, and connection building. As Rebecca mentioned, I'm excited to be here talking about this topic that is close to my heart, which is networking, and because it has helped me tremendously over the course of my career. So this is a sort of a beginner's guide to networking and building meaningful connections. Keyword meaningful connections, right? Those are really important because networking is all about that. And it's not sometimes as transactional as some people may want to think about it. So whether you love it, whether you love networking or you dread it, my goal today is to help you leave feeling more confident, prepared, and even a little excited about your next networking event. But to get us started and to go warm up a little bit, I'm curious to hear what are your hopes to attend this session? What do you hope to achieve by attending networking events? Sorry, not this session, but networking events in general. So whether you are you can have your mobile device and you can scan the QR code. We also have dropping in the chat. Albert is dropping in the chat the link to the Menti, so you can do it through your computer or you can do it through through the QR code and use your phone. So whether you like it. So we're going to be people about 45 to 60 seconds, and then we're going to look over the results together. So I'll give you guys 1 minute, and yeah, let me know. And then we'll get started. So I'm gonna go on mute, and I'll give everybody about a minute.
Yeah, I just dropped the link in the chat. Let me know if you have any problems opening it and stuff.
Thank you, Albert. All right. So this is what you guys have all put. So, but for obvious reasons, right? People are we seeing the word cloud? Yes. All right. So for obvious reasons, right? The main topic the main objective uh, to attend a networking event is to build connections, right? New connections. But I love that I also see some growth, hope, right? I really I like that people definitely you go into those events with the hopes to really build a new relationship that might help you in your career development. So thank you for sharing this non-awkwardness. Wow, that's awesome. Connections, meeting interesting people, long-term connections. I love the authenticity too. I think that is a very important part that we're going to look into that later down the presentation. But thank you so much for sharing these insights with the group. So you might be thinking, uh, what? So we're going to talk about what is in it for me, like what's the importance of networking. So primarily we want to think about as a finding new job opportunities. This is the context that we're trying to look at networking, right? From advancing your career, and then also creating a network of partnerships. So we're going to talk about these three topics as we go, but keep in mind that that's the main purpose of developing a strong network is to find new job opportunities, advance in your career, create a network of partnerships. So those are really important, and it will help you advance in your profession, or especially if you want to switch into a new field in your career. So let's go look over some numbers. So see how important it is to network. Keep in mind that 85% of the jobs that people land, 80%, 85% of the jobs people land are found via networking. So 85%, just let that sink in. So 85%. Also, 70% of the jobs are never posted on anywhere. They're just referrals, or they're just opportunities that go straight to folks that are that are top of mind, or that are being connected to someone in an organization, or like I said, via referral. So they don't even post it. So 70% of the jobs, so the vast majority are happening through networking. And also, you're 4 times more likely to get hired via a referral. So this is why your connections really matters. 4 times more likely to land a job if you know someone within an organization, or someone who's in a position to hire. So, and not just to know the person, but actually be connected. And I'll go into that, what it means by connected in the next few slides. So I'm gonna also want to mention something about the importance of being connected. I personally have experienced this firsthand. I'm not just speaking because I love the topic, but I also have been I've been a beneficiary. I received the benefits of networking, and my past two opportunities have come via networking. So I was basically approached by folks that I knew that I actually were not in my immediate network, but they were almost referrals of folks. So I had been working and connecting with more people, sharing my intentions to shift, gears, to change careers, and I've been communicating for quite some time about my intentions and sharing what I was doing, and then as time went by, these folks would come and ask me if I was still looking, if I was interested in something, and then basically offer me a position. So if they know, the more people you talk about, the people you connect, the more people that you make clear that what your intentions are, what are you looking for, they become your advocates, and they will also start looking out for you. So you have more chances of hearing about something or being approached by someone, the more people you are connected and you share your story with. And we're going to talk about storytelling in a bit. But especially in my last job, I was basically approached by the hiring manager who I had never met, and for a position that I never applied to, and for a organization that I never heard of. So, and when I asked how did you find me, is because someone had mentioned my name, and they have seen my then they looked me up and they saw my resume, my LinkedIn activity, and that's how it happened. So I highly recommend networking to anyone. And you can find your own style. You can see how little that you do, but definitely it's a tool that has benefited me in the past tremendously. So now, so we always talk about being successful, and sometimes you want to see or hear stories of success, and you just see the person who succeeded. What sometimes those stories fail to tell you is everyone that was behind this person, behind that made that story possible. So don't ever be confused that people make their own. Yes, they put hard work. They do definitely requires effort, but a lot of that is how many people were there to support them in their journey. So you never do it alone. Don't I would say it's almost impossible. You really need a network of people to rally behind you, to support you, to believe in you, and to hear your story to achieve success. So definitely that is the importance of building your network and connect with other folks in a meaningful way. So we have developed these 7 key concepts to nail a networking event in person. So remember, this is one way to network. We are definitely have become more savvy at developing relationships virtually. So we have learned how to connect in the way that we are interacting right now. But now that the world is changing, the hybrid workplace is becoming more prevalent, and also there's a huge surge in in-person events. Those in-person relationships are becoming more crucial than ever. So this guide is focused on that, on equipping you with the right tools and concepts to be able to go in person and make some meaningful connections. Whether you've done it been doing it for a while, or you haven't done it in a while, or you have never done it because you always had the fortune to be in a position you didn't need to go out and network and present yourself in front of others in person. Well, this is a guide that hopefully will give you some tips that help you in your journey, and hope to give it a try, especially tonight, as Rebecca said. So, well, if you sign up, yes, go. Don't go, don't go if you haven't signed up because it's sold out. But there will be other opportunities down the road for you to attend. And actually, I will encourage you to look at opportunities. And I'm going to share some resources with you at the end, so you can actually go practice these skills and put them into practice. All right, so we developed this 7-step method, I guess. It's called Connect. So we'll talk about craft your image. With the C is for craft your image. Then we do own your story. N is notice your body language. And the next one is navigate conversations. E is exit gracefully. C stands for continue the connection. And T is for track your connections. And that's something that sometimes we do not do as effectively. So some of these might be very familiar to you, but some hopefully will be a little bit more insightful, and they will give you some good tools to leverage later. So let's start with C, craft your image. So let's talk about present your best self at an event. And remember, this is focusing on actual in-person events, whether it's a happy hour, a networking event, or a career fair. You gotta really think about how you present yourself and how you dress properly for the position that you're going after, or for the career that you wanna get into, or the field that you're trying to get into. So remember, this is a one size fits all, but it's more like a framework. It's a way of thinking about what do you want to achieve, how do you want to present yourself for the career that you're trying to that you're going for. So for example, dressing appropriately for an event. What do we mean by that? So in this case, if it's a happy hour, or if it's like more like an informal networking event, we recommend that you choose like a business casual like dress code. So we have some images there in the slide. So this is kind of like the tone that you should go. So don't overdress, but also don't go too casual, right? You unless you're maybe and this doesn't apply to all the jobs, as I said, right? You gotta read the room, you gotta know your audience. Everybody, you always looking at audiences, right? So meaning the people they're gonna be interacting with, people that are gonna be connecting with. So if you're going for a more casual work environment and everybody's going to be wearing sweatpants and hoodies, and that's kind of the vibe of the company, you kind of want to match that, right? You don't want to go overdressed and make them feel uncomfortable. But if you're going for a more formal office work, traditional work setting, this is kind of like what we recommend for like a happy hour, right? That this is kind of very standard event, but not too flashy, but also very well put together. So now let's say you're going for a more formal event, like a career fair, or like a, more like a traditional, maybe you just you land a meeting where someone who actually you don't know very well, who might be able to introduce you to someone that can actually connect you to someone can make a decision for you. So you want to dress a little more properly, right? So these are definitely on the screen. There's some tips of kind of how to dress properly. Business professional. This is kind of still the standard for most careers, especially in the private sector. So yeah, so this is something you want to consider. So always dress properly, create your own style. But my advice would be at first is to be sober and not too much, overdressed. Unless you're going for a career in the arts or like in show business, then you want to show your character. That's kind of a part of your introduction. But if you're going for a career, let's say in business development, consulting, more like an office job into like a law firm, that type of environment, then this is probably more appropriate for that. So just always the key word here is think about the people you're going to be meeting with and try to mirror them, try to match them, right? Don't overdo them. Don't go underdressed, kind of meet them where they are. So that will take up some practice, but it will definitely you will get better at that with time. So now, how do you prepare, right? So I mentioned about research. So this is important. Preparation is key. You don't want to go into an event just kind of like, and wing it. You try to see as much as you can. You look at information. Obviously, you learn about the event, and there's a reason that you're interested in going. But try to see who else might be attending. You don't necessarily might have access to the list of guests or people that might be attending, but you also know who are the sponsors, who are the organizers. So those companies might send folks. Then also you can engage interest by sharing on social media that you will be attending and trying to see who else is going to be there to reach out. And those, surprisingly, those folks that are also attending will connect with you. They will respond, they will engage, and that will give an idea who's going to be there. And once you know that, then you can either connect with them in advance and follow up at the event, or you will be able to do some research online about them and find things to talk about, right? Because then you're going to have to craft your message, and that's what we're going to go into a little bit later. But very, very important to prepare to find out about the folks that you're going to be talking to, right? So think about it this way. You want to stand out and leave a positive impression on the people you want to work in. These are people, these are potential colleagues, right? So you want to create a good impression with these folks, and also maybe feel that like, oh my God, I would love to work with this person in the future. So that's the impression you want to leave at the end. So however you go about it is up to you, but it's important to prepare before you go. So don't just go and try to, especially if you're not well. Some people have it come more naturally, but if you're not necessarily in that rhythm, or you're not as good as, preparation is key. All right. So now the O stands for own your own story and purpose. So let's talk about your elevator pitch. And this is the part where you will hear it a lot, especially now these days, you hear so much about it. And you might be thinking, oh my God, this is only applicable to startups. They're the only ones that can create an elevator pitch where they're looking for investors, they're looking for, that is partially true, but you can apply the same principles to your own brand, because what we're trying to develop here is your own personal brand and differentiate yourself from others. So it's very similar to what the startup does, right? They will try to differentiate themselves in the marketplace and create a story that is compelling to others. So people feel compelled to, in their case, they're looking for investments. In your case, they're looking for connections. You're looking for referrals. You're looking for people looking for, eventually might want to hire you, right? So that's the goal. So similar concepts. So we're going to look into that. So how to write an elevator pitch? So you got to start hitting very important some points. Number one, you're going to tell them who you are. Then number two, these are the four pieces of that puzzle, right? So your story, what a good elevator is, you're gonna tell them who you are. You're gonna tell them a quick summary of your background. You're gonna tell what you're looking for. You gotta be clear about that. Don't be vague. You gotta be honest. And if you're looking for an opportunity, you gotta be mindful and purposeful, right? Tell them what you're looking for in a nice way, right? Don't also sound desperate, because nobody wants to feel like pressure to give you a job or something like that, right? And then now and a call to action. So you always want to follow with like, hey, we're going to keep in touch. So tell them that you are going to be following up, that you're going to be in touch, and that you're interested in, especially in developing a relationship. So those are very important things to keep in mind when you're creating your story. So make it short. Again, look at the screen. Is, don't make it too long. It's about 30 to 45 seconds. Make it interesting. Think about your storytelling. Tell your story about you. Make it personal. So make it, so if you can, adapt it to their interest. And then finally show confidence, right? Own your story. You are incredible. You have so much to give. So don't feel, and don't feel bad if you're in a position that you need something. We all need something at some point in our life. So don't feel like ashamed or nervous. Hey, we all have been in a position. Who knows? The person that you're talking to might need you in the future. And if you make them feel that so you always keep that in mind, that you never know that when you're going to be able to return the favor. So people should be mindful of that. So don't feel bad. Share your story. Be confident.
Augusto,
Yes.
I love this example. I was going to say, can we hear from you an
Mhm.
example, like your elevator pitch?
Ooh, my elevator pitch. Okay, I'm gonna share. So I had some examples prepared, but I didn't want to make it about me, but I'll try to share what I say. So and you'll see some of these later in the presentation. So basically, I start with telling them who I am, like what am I, introducing myself, and then if I'm looking for and what am I doing at the event. But I always tell them, hey, so what brought you here today? I'm curious to hear about their story. So I start with that question. And based on what they tell me, I start sharing some aspects. So I immediately start to build connections, right? So I start, and we'll talk about some of these when I go into this. But basically, I say, hey, what brought you here today? What's your name? Oh, firm handshake. And we say, hey, my name is so and so. And I say, oh, okay, great. And what organization? And if let's say I was at an event, last week, and I met with some people from an organization that I have worked in the past, but I didn't know this person, particularly. I said, "Oh my God, I heard, I've had the fortune to work with folks for you that in your organization. So very nice to meet you." And and I tell them, in this case, I'm representing Sinuria, right? So I said, "Hey, we are in the learning and development space, and we're here. I'm here just to connect with more folks in the industry, and kind of share our story. Why are we unique, and and then like, oh, wonderful. So we talk, and then by going into the conversation, I was fortunate that I usually know these companies that I'm gonna be interacting with, and I know people in those. So I try to say, hey, do you know so and so? So I try to make an immediate connection that make them feel familiar. Most cases they have something, or they do something that is interesting and interest to us. So I asked them to tell me about the work they do, and people go into a story about what they do, and then I try to connect it with something that we're currently doing, right? Try to find something in common. So I say, oh, that's awesome. Yeah, we are also looking into something like this, and we just start chatting. So that's kind of how I usually do. I don't go for like an aggressive elevator pitch unless I'm talking to really people, investing or something that was gonna, going after a business aggressively. But for networking, I particularly just want to hear about them, and I really want to make sure that they remember Sinuria. So I make sure that hey, I'm a principal at Sinuria. I do growth for Sinuria, and we focus on learning and development. So we develop, custom learning experiences that are, nothing that you have seen in the marketplace. So definitely, check us out. Let's But I'm also curious to hear what you do. What is it? What's going on right now? What excites you? And then I let them talk. So I do a lot of active listening. So that's kind of what my approach is to these type of events, and kind of how I pitch myself.
Augusto, I love it. And gosh, it just rolls off the tongue so easily, right? Because it makes me think, it's very practiced, right?
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't sound rehearsed, but it
Mm-hmm.
is practiced. And, networking, I think of networking being a set of muscles, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yes.
oh, it's like it can be hard to hit the gym. It can
Yep.
be hard to like cringe. I don't want this to be awkward. I gotta show up and talk to people I don't know. And what am I gonna say? It can be intimidating.
Yeah.
I think it's like once you hit the gym, so to speak, like with those networking muscles and you exercise them more and more, it begins to feel more organic. It
Yeah.
might not ever feel completely organic to some of us, but the more we practice it, the more those muscles, right, they're gonna be
Yes.
stronger. We're gonna be able to stand them up more easily. I
Yes. I agree. I think that you really nailed a very important concept of the practice, right? And I think that's why it's so important that, you know, Wellfed is putting together this opportunity tonight, right? For example, that go people in a safe environment with a friendly crowd, you go and practice. So that is perfect. You want to find those opportunities to practice. Don't go and on the first, you know, first chance you have to meet with someone who can actually make a difference, go practice your elevator pitch, right? They might be kind sometimes, but sometimes they're busy and they're like, oh my God, you know, they were like, why didn't you in their heads? It's like, why did this person prepare, right? Why didn't you practice before you talk to me, right? They will not tell you that, but they will feel it. So what Rebecca is saying is go practice with your friends, practice with AI. Now we'll talk about that in a second, but also practice, go find opportunities where you can actually practice those skills and be purposeful. So then when the real time comes, you feel more confident, more comfortable, you're already more ready, right? So that's I think that's important.
I want to ask the audience really quickly, you know, what's the most intimidating part, or what's the parts you least like about networking? I saw, you know, somebody had said non-awkwardness, right? The opposite would be awkwardness.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that is like makes us cringe a little bit. I'm curious if you put in the
very
chat.
good.
Yeah, or unmute. I'd love to hear like what's the least you know, what's the worst part, I should say, of networking for you? And you can put it in the chat. Benjamin, I see you're unmuted. I don't know if you meant to unmute. Okay.
He's like, nope, not me. That's also no, yeah.
But I just want to hold space to see
Oh,
anyone
I love
wants
it.
to unmute or put it in the chat and just let us know, like, what's that you feeling like you're selling yourself, Sherry? Yes, then that can feel so like gross and yucky, and it can feel really uncomfortable. I get that. Feeling over your head, Bethany. That's very real.
Yeah. No, I feel you about the selling yourself. And that's why if you see that when Rebecca asked me my example, what do I do when I go? I never said I'm gonna go run down the, you know, the capability sheet, you know, for Sinuria, right? I'm not gonna tell you all the wonderful things we do and how amazing we're. I basically very clearly state what is my role and what the Sinuria does. But then I go into like, I listen to what they have to say. And then I try to find topics that I can relate, right? Connect in, right? Build some connection. And that is the important goal. So this is the foundation. And also another thing that we haven't talked about, this is a long-term strategy. This is not going to be like the first time you meet someone and they're going to get you your next job. It takes time, but it takes practice. It takes consistency. Yeah. So, but yeah, it is, don't sound like you're selling something to them, but tell them the story. And we're going to go into that. Is if you tell them a story, then it's going to be more easy for them to relate. So this is building relationships that will hopefully in the future become something more, but you got to just build those connections, right? So right now you're not selling them anything, and don't make them feel like, oh my God, so another person telling me that they need something from me. You know, I heard so many times, right? You tell them about you, create that space in their heads. They're like, oh, I remember Rebecca, and she told me this that was very interesting. And she seems like she knows a lot of other things. I want to hear more. And then you continue to build the relationship, right? It's not like a one time, I tell you my story, you got it, check that box, go to the next. No, you got to continue, right? You nurture it.
I love that. And you know, Augusto, it makes me think back to like when I first met you. And like I remember very distinctly, not just because of your effervescent like spirit and you know, your gregarious, but also because you told me a story about visiting your mom. And how whenever you visit your mom doesn't want you to leave. And I was like, that was like such a wonderful story. But like when I think of you, I associate you with that story.
Wow.
And your mom, and I've never met your mom, but you know, I as a mother, I could like relate to that sentiment, you know, of like, you know, even as you're, you know, a grown man, you have your own family and your own life here. It's hard for her to let you go when you visit. So it's so true what you said. A couple of things here in the chat. And Sherry found that helpful. Yeah, the reframe around from selling to actually building relationships. And something that you had called out, Augusto, that I know you'll talk more about, but it's that active listening, you know, it's like being the most interesting person in the room means you are the most interested person in the room. You're
Yes.
most interested
Yes.
in them, to hear about them and their stories.
Yeah.
Jennifer mentioned, small talk, exiting the conversation and starting the conversation can feel really uncomfortable, I'm sure. I know it can for me.
We're going to talk about those things later. Yeah, there's some
Awesome.
good things, how to exit those conversations. Though sometimes that's tricky, and that's something I still struggle with, because I attend this for work now mostly. So you wanna, you really go, and this is part of the planning. You go with a goal, right? So you're focusing on, yes, you're enjoying the conversations, but you also need to be mindful of who else is there that you really want to talk to as well, and you don't want to be rude, but you also want to make the time, because I'm there working, right? I'm there, and we all there, right? We're all going to with a goal in mind, and we want to be honest to that goal and enjoy the conversations, be respectful for folks, but also so that you have someone in there that you might want to still talk to, and you see the time, and you see the person maybe making a move to try to leave. You're like, how do I end this conversation gracefully and then go to the next one, right? So we'll show you in a second also how to do that. And I so there's some things that you can say that.
I love that. Just a couple more things in the chat. And that said, when you're familiar with body language, you can quickly pick up on the moment someone starts to lose interest, or when
Yes.
it's clear that they're just not really into what you're saying. I think
Yeah.
that's so true. And you have to be attuned to that, right?
Yes.
It's like learning to drive, and all of a sudden you realize like you have to look straight ahead over the windshield, but you also have to think about your peripheral vision, right? There's so many things to think about when you learn to drive. And I think that's very true of like networking or like engaging
Yeah.
with people, is like
Yes.
you're actively listening, you're reading body language, you're also thinking about what you're going to say next, you're also trying to absorb what they just said. And
Yeah.
so that's very true. Hannah also mentioned trying to describe my experience and ask thoughtful questions to people who work in industries or roles that I know almost nothing about. And that's a challenge, asking thoughtful questions to people. And so I know that you'll probably have some suggestions there, but Hannah, that's a very real challenge. And Sherry said, I worry that I don't have enough to offer. Oh,
Yes.
I'm glad you heard
Yes.
that, but
Mhm.
you do.
You do, exactly. You do. So yeah, it's interesting. And Rebecca, you touched on a very important point of reading the room and reading the person you're talking to, right? So I went from government contracting and now to co-found a tech startup. So now we are in a very different space. And let me tell you, it's not the same as as friendly or welcoming as your folks in government contracting that I got used to, right? So I'm used to those environments, to that community. But when you go to these other meetings where there's, you talk to, venture capitalists or people, investors, they're not necessarily, they will immediately show you if they're interested or not in you or what you're having to say. And so don't feel bad. It happens to everyone. We're all going to have to go through those. And it's about, don't think that it's because of you. It's just because they're not necessarily interested in at that moment in what you have to say, but it has nothing to do with you. So there's someone else, and that happened to me recently. I was in one of these the rooms, and I was going around, and then started talking to someone, and that person immediately showed me that, yeah, she wasn't interested in anything I had to say. And I was like, wow, okay, that was a very, you feel that, right, immediately. But then I was trying to think of my own, teachings of, okay, what do I do in this case? And then you go to the next person, and it's a completely different vibe. It's the same room, it's the same environment, it's just a different person. So don't let that one rejection or one negative response, so to speak, that let you detriment you from keep trying it or keep believing in you and your story, right? That's what. So because you have Rebecca said, you have so much to offer. Sherry, your story is unique and is powerful and is valuable. You just have to find the right audience. And the better you get at telling it, the more doors will open for you, guaranteed. So don't ever think that you have nothing to offer or you have little to offer. You just have to find the right audience, and you will connect with those folks. Your network will grow, and you will find opportunities, and you will find those meaningful connections that we're trying to establish here. So let me just quickly say, So your pitch needs to be clear, very, very precise, and also you gotta share it with confidence, and that takes practice. Okay, so don't just don't do it once and forget it. Try to keep practicing it and refining it. I'm gonna go here next quickly. So don't speak too fast, right? Don't rush. Really try to spend the time with the person you're talking to. Don't tell them too many details. So it's not about you and try to go to your checklist. It's about more about listening. So just be very clear and concise, and then adapt it to their needs. So listen to who you are talking to. Try to understand who they are, what they're interested in, and tell them something that is of value to them, and they will kind of get them interested in talking to you. So and then you might want to tell them that if you're really interested in this, in continue the conversation, tell them that you're going to reconnect, that you're going to connect, you're going to talk to them. So as I mentioned to Rebecca, you can use storytelling, and this is important. And you have a story, you just have to craft it, right? And now we have wonderful tools at our disposal to create a wonderful, compelling story. So don't sleep on AI. Create a story that has a beginning, a middle, and a conclusion, something that is memorable. We all have stories. We all have stories. We just have to, dig them. We have to adapt them, and we have to make them, ready for an audience, right? So just and if you're interested in storytelling, Signoria has a storytelling, story or storytelling a post that we're going to share with you, how to craft your own, compelling story it's coming out in the next few days. So keep an eye out for that. And also newsletter has some interesting information and tips about creating a compelling story. So but yeah, storytelling is important. It helps in every aspect of your life. But yes, for building relationships is a must. Okay, so and again, how do you start crafting your story, right? So you think about what kind of work that you do, or what do you want to do. You kind of list your achievements or skills, what makes you different, and also what you're hoping to get out of networking. That is important, because you need to really go in with clear goals. So I think this is when we go into breakout rooms, Rebecca. So if we're gonna put some folks into a breakout and split them equally, and they can go into these with some of these questions that we have on screen, and just kind of share with everybody and start kind of drafting the structure of your pitch. You're not gonna come up with like a story full blown out, just at least get some of the pointers that you're gonna build out, later, in your own time. But we can maybe dedicate maybe 2-3 minutes to this. Yeah, that would be great.
Sounds great. So you're all going to be invited to a breakout room, and we'll give you 2 to 3 minutes. So those breakout rooms are open now.
Thank you. Oh, I get to choose.
Augusto, can you share your screen to breakouts?
Yeah.
Like if you
Let me see. Broadcast? No. Yeah, how do you do? Sorry, I don't. Wait. Where do you do that?
Yeah, I think if you are able to pull it, like stop sharing and then reshare it, I think you can broadcast it to.
The broadcast message.
Yeah, I think there's an option on the right-hand side that says share to breakout rooms. And that way, just in case people need like a reminder of what they're doing, they'll see it on the screen.
Okay. Oh, here it is. Okay. I think.
Great. Oh, do you want it to be back on the slide about the elevator pitch steps or components?
There you go.
There you go. Perfect. It's great. It's going well. It's good turnout, and Do you recognize some of these names here? Oh, you're muted.
I'm sorry. Oh no, these are my people. I'm so happy to see their names. Yeah, it's so yeah, it's amazing to see the folks, but also yeah, the work that you guys are doing is more meaningful than ever. This is another one of those, and um, I was, I guess, hopeful that things had slowed down, that we were over the worst part, but I think we're still in the midst of things, and this is needed. A news and I guess a new wave of folks are going to be coming in, looking now for direction, for guidance. So we're back into, not back into the days, but I at least feel like we're going back to April, February, those days when things were happening. And now, unfortunately, it started to happen again. My folks at State got impacted on Friday. I think HHS was also, or will be at some point. And
They were they were re-terminated.
return.
Yeah, that's a thing. It's a
It's a
thing.
thing. It's a thing. And I've been hearing about the cruelty or the way, and it's the same, the same things that we experience, unfortunately. But I'm hopeful that we can empower folks to own their story and to own their journey, and regardless of this environment, we're all gonna be able to thrive and accomplish our goals, just in a different capacity, right? It's gonna be a transition. We're all gonna go through this, but we have wonderful folks like you and Drew and Amanda and everyone, Tiffany and Jessica and everyone else on the team that is helping, give people a sense of purpose, and refining their stories and finding the way to continue their careers, right? Continue to contribute, and yeah, so you guys are doing incredible work that I'm just super proud and excited to be associated with. I think we're at time. We should bring him back.
Yep. They're going to have 1 minute. So some of the rooms have 3 and some of the rooms have 2.
Okay.
I'll close the rooms now.
Okay.
And that will give them 60 seconds.
Nice. Oh wow, this is awesome.
Hey, did you want me to go around to the other breakout rooms?
No, I don't think so, Albert. You can stay here.
All
Yeah.
right.
Sorry, I also forgot, Albert, to introduce you. I should have introduced you. Like sorry, my apologies.
No, that's
This
okay.
young gentleman here is wow, it's everything.
Oh.
He's just so talented, so smart, so humble. And we have I have two folks. Ellie is not here. I met her in Boston when we met with Logan. And she's in Boston. She's doing great work. So Albert and Ellie are my team for the summer. And
Oh,
they've been
amazing.
incredible. Oh my gosh, these two
I
are
love
gonna be
that.
doing some big things.
Awesome.
Already doing big things, bigger things they're gonna
Yeah.
be doing.
That's great.
And they're incredible young professionals that I'm so
Albert, we're
fortunate to
glad
have.
you're here. Welcome back, everyone. Curious, how was that? How did that feel? Brian, your camera's on still. I don't know if you're willing to pipe in here, but we'd love to hear from you.
Oh, okay, sure. Yeah. I didn't really have a lot of time to go over mine.
Sorry about that.
I have worked on my elevator pitch and I hear different things. So one of the things I was in a career search workshop, was told was that my initial pitch was too long, so I've kept it really brief and sort of vague, and then followed up. Usually people will ask questions and kind of get into more specific information in the follow-up. But yeah, I've heard like 30 to 45 seconds for an elevator
Yep.
pitch.
Yeah.
Brian, thanks for sharing that. Is there anyone else? Like, how did that feel? I hope if you did have enough time, and I'm sorry if you didn't, but if you did have enough time to practice your elevator pitch, how did that feel? What was it like for you? You can put it in the chat, or you can put your voice into the room. Did it feel easy? Did it feel challenging?
I'll say that it's never easy the first time.
Mm.
And it's hard to put yourself in, like, like Ryan saying, in 30 to 45 seconds, right? You, especially if you have all these experiences, all these things you have done that you're proud of, that you want to condense. It's challenging, right? It's an exercise that takes practice, and you only get better if you start and if you go at it. Like Rebecca said, you have to exercise that muscle, right? And then in time you will develop a variety of those. So you will see, as soon as you start approaching someone, and within the first few seconds of the interaction, you'll know which version of your elevator pitch is the best for this specific person. So don't think that you only create one version. Don't feel limited by that. Like, oh, I always have to repeat the same thing, otherwise it's not effective. It's not. We'll have a few, and you will use them and adapt them. You will mix them up depending on this. You will get better at that. But the only way is what Rebecca said: practice, constant practice. And in time you become natural. Just come out, you were like, wow, I just combine these two versions of this, and there's a new one that I like very much, and I'm gonna continue to use this. So it's a never-ending exercise, because with your experiences that you continue to add, it will get stronger and your story will become more compelling. So yeah, so don't feel like, it's because it's a little of a struggle right now. It will always be. It will get a lot easier. So I think we can go to the next one. We're gonna go quickly because we're just having too much fun, but we're running a little bit short on time. So I don't wanna, be respectful of that. Okay, so as we mentioned before, remember there's AI. Of course, I don't have to remind you, but there's a very much AI is there for you. So leverage your Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you might use to ask them to help you and rate your pitch and offer suggestions. And you can even upload a copy of your resume and then ask what will be something that you highlight that you see fit. And you can be very good at prompting and say, we are trying to I'm giving this pitch to these and these folks. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Leah. Don't upload your personal information to those language models, because yes, keep it neutral. And that's a good tip. All right. So we're gonna share some of these resources with you at the end. So please keep an eye out for that. We're gonna ask the way to send you that. And okay, body language is something that people mentioned in the past. What are some examples that body language that we should? Yes, career span. Thank you, Amanda. Career span is it's free for I think it's free for the summer, if I'm not mistaken. So go sign up. It's great. Career span will help you create a compelling story, personal story, with their incredible AI coach that that they have for you. So career span, yes. Let's go. Let's use it. Okay. Body language. So let's go quickly. So keep in mind, you keep open body language, smile, offer a firm handshake, make eye contact. And that's a point that sometimes it's really hard to make. You don't feel like, but it's important. Not all the time. You don't want to also look too aggressive, but you want to maintain the conversation also going in a very direct way, right? But don't overdo it. But yes, like eye contact, open body language, comfortable posture, but relaxed, comfortable, and then also like a firm handshake. If that is, I think that it still comes across as a very, a sign of, that you are confident in what you're going to say and what you have to offer, right? And remember, if you have their name, say it out loud. So it helps you remember their name for future reference, but also it's people like it when you say their name. There's research about that, right? So little details that make you stand out. So keep those in mind. Let's say next. Okay. So navigate conversation. So let's do another quick Menti. What are some topics to discuss at a networking events? I think maybe we can go over this because I don't want to be over time. So let's go quickly. How to start a conversation. So we can ask. Remember, Rebecca asked me, "What do you do in a networking? What is your elevator pitch?" I say. So I asked him, "So what brought you here today?" And a lot of people there are, so they, for example, they will tell you, right? You ask them, you don't ask them what they do, who are they, you tell them, so what brought you here today? And sometimes they'll tell you, oh, one of my friends invited me, or I came because of my company or something like that. So there's a conversation started that is very casual, not very aggressive. So what brings you here today? Then you can follow with a, how did you get into that field? Yeah, if they share something that is interested, so you let them tell their story first. And then you are taking notes, mental notes, that would allow you to then help, compel you, get them something, offer them something next, right? What kind of work you do, and avoid overly personal or yes or no questions, right? But if so, you start with some thoughtful questions, some active listening, and then you come back with your own with your own story in a way that resonates with them, hopefully. Okay, so making a meaningful connection is key. So you always have to find similar common ground quickly. So based on what they told you, right, you try to say the state that you grew up, maybe even the schools you attended, companies you worked on, career, or even someone in common that you know. You will find something to start a conversation and kind of like, develop that and keep it going. Then you share something of value. If you listen carefully to what they're saying, and if you have something to offer, you can offer them a resource. You can share something interesting you read, a statistic, or a podcast that you're listening to, a book that you're reading, or something fun or interesting conversation that you had that could make them remember you, right? Rebecca said, I told her a story. I told her a story about my mom that to this day she remembers. So that is something that I felt like it was appropriate to share at that time. And I'm glad that it resonated with her. So that's kind of what you want. You want to leave them with something that makes you memorable, and it will help you keep the relationship right going. Use AI to brainstorm topics. Be authentic. Don't come across transactional. Don't come across as you really needed something from them or will need something from them very soon. Be genuine and no salesy, right? Salesy people come across as unauthentic, and you don't wanna come across that. Active listening, we mentioned already, very, very important to mirror their energy, mirror their tone, mirror how they talk, kind of find them in common topics, and listen really, really carefully. Don't interrupt, and avoid talking always, just constantly talking about yourself. Don't give them space to kind of talk. Okay. This is okay. Back to the exit. This is a topic that someone, I think Sherry mentioned in the earlier. So let's quickly say, which is your favorite way to exit a conversation? So we have proposed a few. So Albert's gonna drop the link on the computer as well, and we'll do 30 seconds and pick your mentee, favorite way to exit a conversation, or you will get some ideas. So let's do 30 seconds and we'll come back. And I want to hear some of your thoughts too. If anyone has an issue with the mentee, let me know, or let us know.
Yeah, if you have trouble with the link in the chat also, just ping us.
Okay, I'm gonna go and start with, hold on. Yeah. All right. So the most popular one that you selected out of the option was, really appreciate your insights. I hope we cross paths. We cross paths again. That's wonderful, and that's actually very interesting because I also think people I always use, or mostly I use, I want to be respectful of your time, and then I want to let you enjoy the rest of the event. So I make it more about them. That's my personal preference, but I think that the audience resonates with, really appreciate your insights. So if there's one that you like and that you want to share with the group, you can put it in the chat, or you can open them, unmute and share. But yeah, that's so interesting. But my favorite, my go-to usually is like, I want to be respectful of your time. And I want you to enjoy the rest of the event or the evening. And yeah, so nice talking to you. I combine some of these things, and I say, let you chat with others, that kind of stuff. So yeah. So all right, so let me keep going. Rebecca, do you have any favorite one?
I liked the two most popular, and I'm wondering if anyone here has an exit a script that wasn't on the screen that you'd like to share. If you want to put it in the chat or let us know by unmuting. But yeah, like what's your favorite exit script when you're networking or trying to inch out of a conversation, or you're picking up right on subtle or not so subtle cues that the other person is done with the conversation, or maybe you want to be done? What does that sound like? Do you have any other suggestions? Sometimes I'll excuse myself and say, "Oh, I need to use the restroom."
That's
Or
that's
I need to
valid.
go, like, I need to go grab a little more to drink or something.
That's also
Is
very
maybe
good.
like
Yeah.
one way to exit. But
Yeah.
if you have any others, maybe you're typing in the chat, or you want to put your voice into the room. We just want to hold space for you to do that. So, oh, Kim, I love that one. You can introduce them to someone else you met and allow them to meet, and then just like inch.
Yeah, make it. Yeah. Oh, that's good. I love that.
Oh, Stephen, that's a great one. Oh, I'm so glad to see you on here, Stephen. Yeah, asking for their contact. And yeah, I'd love to be in touch. And it's just like
Yeah.
it's a feel-good way to kind of end the conversation.
Yeah.
Thanks. You've got their contact info on the phone, and then you can
Yes.
move around the room. I
I don't
love
think we
that.
put it in this thing, Rebecca, but okay, people, now you gotta be good with your LinkedIn. So if you don't know how to scan the QR code, a lot of people surprisingly don't know that yet, but which blows my mind, right? But you gotta be ready to don't complicate it. Say like, no, don't worry. You just scan the QR code here, and we'll talk. Okay, yeah, that usually leads to like, oh, I didn't know. Oh my God, I'm shocked, but it does. So be ready
Yeah.
to either share your QR code with them, or or tell them I can scan your QR code. They're like, what? How do you do that? And you show them. You click on the search here. Oh, that is something that will. Oh, remember, Rebecca showed me how to do this thing. That is already. If they don't know, that's a memorable thing for them. Is like the person that showed them that, it will be always in their head, right? So don't. But yes, you also be good about like, hey, I don't want to be business cards. I have mixed feelings about that. So it's personal, it's not, but they get lost a lot of time. So the LinkedIn thing is a much more quick, but you be ready to don't waste time on that. It's like, yeah, let's quick natural boom, 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 exchange, scan the QR code and go. So all right, so let's keep going. So now, okay, so we talk about this, exit the conversation, and I really enjoy meeting you and talking about, and you close, and then ask to connect on LinkedIn or a business card if that is your cup of tea. All right, continue the connection. This is something that we are now going into now, is following up. This is important. Yes, you already made a good impression. You made the connection. Don't let it get cold. Okay, this is how we're going to let the salesy part of this presentation, but it's not. So it's important. You're creating a brand. You are your own brand. You are your own company. You are your own organization. So don't look at yourself as just a one person. You are you're creating something bigger, and go for the create a following up. If it's really, it really takes following up. So keep the relationship alive. So don't wait more than 48 hours to follow up with your if you connect them with them on LinkedIn, send them a message thanking them for the time, or telling them how interesting it is for for the conversation you guys had and all that. So keep the relationship alive. You can share something of value. That's also very important. You share something that you found, that based on the conversation you had, you can follow up with that. So don't let it get cold. This is an example. You can find your own, but this is basically one that we came up with. Where you can basically say, "Hey, it was great talking to you about." Make a reference to that, to what the things that you were discussing, and then go into the more, "Hey, I'm happy to connect, but if you have a specific ask, or if you're looking, just tell them to keep you in mind." And then see if they're gonna be at another event or something like that, or they have something else that they will be interested, or they have a suggestion what other events you can attend. Multiple things you can do in that email. This is just one example that we can share with you at the end. These are the free templates because we believe in the next in something which is tracking connections, which is important, because This is something people sometimes don't do. You need to track your connections, because if you become really good at networking, you're going to be going to multiple places and you're going to be meeting multiple people, right? So you connect with them, and then what? How do you remember? Did I follow? Instead of going through your email and your link, your LinkedIn, there's a way to just track your connections, almost like creating your little CRM, your customer relationship management system, if you were like in sales. So just create a very, very easy template we have created for a spreadsheet. And then you can, yes, the slides will be sent out as well as templates, Nicole. So yeah, so this is it might seem simple and kind of like very, but it's important to track your connections, especially as you are building them, so you know exactly. And the template we created will allow you to track effectively. So we'll share those resources with you at the end. And let's see. Okay. What to track. So just an example, name and role, where you met with this person, the key conversation points. Next, follow up on ideas, and then the date of the last conversation or the last exchange that you had with this person. So that is it, right? The same 7-step method that we crafted. So connect, craft your image, own your story and purpose. Sorry for the background noise. There's people cutting the grass around me. So my apologies if you hear that. Own your story, notice your body language, navigate conversations, exit gracefully, continue the connection, and track your connections. It's going to be very, very helpful as you build your Rolodex card, or whatever you want to call it. If you remember those days, you have so many of those, but you need to remember what you did and what you didn't do, so you can be proactive and actually keep the relationships going. And finally, we just want to give a shout out to the wonderful event that the Wellfed folks put for tonight. I sold out, so my apologies for those that didn't register. This was created before, but they're giving you a complimentary beer on the house for the first one is on the house at Right Proper Brewery, 5 to 7 today. And hopefully some of you can attend and practice what you learn, and then connect with some other folks and start building your network or growing your network. So we have also some exit questions. I want to place the link in the chat as well, so you can we can send you those materials that we share, the tracker and all those things directly to you. So if you don't mind just putting it in there, we'll send them to you after this. So thank you so much for joining us today. And I'm open, anything that you guys want to continue to discuss or talk, I'm here for you all.
Augusto, thank you so much. Your energy is so contagious, and it's so good to hear these reminders and also to hear some new suggestions, from you and from folks in the chat. So I'm curious if anyone might have questions for Augusto. We all probably have some cringe networking stories that we can save for another time. Maybe that'll be like our opening icebreaker next time. But do you have any questions for Augusto, who is, truly so skilled at this that it comes across as so organic? And I'm curious if oh, Ryan, thank you. Oh, thank you. Also, put in the chat before you leave and let us know, how are you feeling? And what is your one takeaway? Like if there are one or two things that you're like, oh, this is, what I'm curious, put it in the chat. Nicole, go ahead. We see you have a question.
Yes, so I have been connecting with professionals on LinkedIn, and one thing I had saw was sending a message or a quick note right after. I didn't want to seem so obtrusive or bug them. How do I connect smartly, I guess, to increase, I don't know, my networking with them, and to hopefully generate any leads on opportunities?
I'm sorry, the question, what was exactly? Sorry, I missed that.
Connecting with people on LinkedIn, if you haven't met them in person.
Yeah.
Networking, you connect with someone, a stranger,
Yes.
A senior manager, let's say.
Yeah.
And they accepted your invite. Then what?
Okay, that's a really good question. Okay, that's a little bit of a different topic, but I am happy to share the little I know. So what has been effective to me is the accepted invitation. That is wonderful. You already got the toughest thing is that, right? Now you just have to say, hey, why you connected with them. If you didn't express that in the invitation, you have to be clear about why you connected with them, and then how, and then honest. You say, hey, I am also I'm in this sector. I'm trying to go or break into this area. I have some expertise to offer, and you just kind of tell them a quick, really brief, because they might receive a lot of those if they're hiring managers or they're an HR. So you just gotta be concise. So your elevator pitch, it needs to go into like a little paragraph, right? So just put it in there. So make sure they understand clearly who they are. Make yourself memorable if you can, and then put a little bit of a share, like a resource that might be of interest to them. And yeah, just keep it natural. Don't oversell yourself. Don't go too pushy. Just say, hey, and if maybe your organization at this moment is not, I will be appreciative if you could share with some others that might find my skills needed, or might wanna, that you think might wanna connect to. I'm open to those. Happy to follow up with them. Thank you for any insight you might have for me. Just kind of like that. Don't put too much pressure. Just say, if they accepted you, that means you already have something they saw. Oh, your profile on LinkedIn needs to be, it needs to give away what you've been doing. Don't keep it too brief, okay? Because if they look you up, the fact that they accepted you, that means they found something valuable in your profile, right? If they don't know you personally. So you already broke that, the biggest barrier. So now your follow-up is about exactly what you want to do, what you want from them, in a nice way. And then also they say, hey, and if nothing is happening in your organization, I would appreciate if you could point me as connect me to someone else, or mentor me, or help me in any way you can. That kind of way. So try to find the lowest friction entry point for you there. So that's what I usually do. I just kind of say, hey, thank you for the connection. I appreciate it. I'm in this journey. I'm trying to achieve this, and anything that you can do, and I would appreciate it. Keeping me in mind. Yeah. So nice, nice to connect and all that stuff. So yeah, don't no, it's not, and it's like I said, the invitation, and no, offer value through your, also be active. People are now on LinkedIn more than ever, so you have to differentiate yourself by offering value through your feed. What I mean by that is, you got to be engaged in the community, and you have to share things that you are reading about. You have to also, don't just have a profile like a static resume, right? Don't have just a profile. Have activity, comment, expand on other people's posts, reshare other people's posts, connect with people in the community, right? Engage, show that you're interested in that industry, in that area, and show that you're valuable. That, oh my God, this lady is already very engaged. She knows a lot. She seems to be connected with all these people. She follows all these folks. Oh wow, yes, I would love to have her in my team, maybe now or in the near future. So let's build that. You want to be shown in their feed, okay? You want to show up. So, and usually you don't want to show up for negative, for things that are, maybe show them interesting things, right? So that's my advice. And that those are going to help you sometimes indirectly, will create that connection with this person.
It's great.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So Sam and Hannah had similar questions in the chat of just, it's been a while since you've spoken to someone, or you actually didn't follow up right away and some time has passed. Do you have any tips or advice for, how you reach back out to reignite the connection?
I would say it's honesty comes across really, really. Don't be fake. Don't sound like, you just say, hey, I know we haven't talked in a while. It's obvious. I mean, but you just be like, hey, but I was hoping to reconnect. I see that I've been following your journey on LinkedIn or in your professional career, and I respect it very much. I admire what you, and that's honestly what I usually say to people. It's like, yes, I've been seeing what you've been doing is so amazing. I'm very happy to see you thrive, or mention a recent accomplishment or something they recently shared. So that you're paying attention, right? That you're not just all of a sudden showing up, that you've been interested in their journey. And I've been like, that's what the importance of following people, liking their content, resharing their stuff, cheering them on, right? So try to now say, okay, I admire what you're doing. And now I'm in this position that I'm also trying to reignite my career, whatever you want to rephrase it. Say, I was hoping that you can give me some tips. You can help me, offer some guidance if you have the time. I would appreciate it, right? Yes, Jesse?
Man, how's it going? Good, good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, we'll hang out, I'm sure, a little bit.
Oh,
Yeah,
I think that's probably a mute by mistake. Yeah. So that's
Sounds like
what I
some
was saying.
networking might be going on.
Yeah, exactly. So that what I would say, just be honest about that, you haven't been in touch in a while, but you're being kind of like paying attention to their journey, and that you admire what they're doing, or it's interesting and you want to hear more, but also that you're in this position that you're now going looking for a new opportunity, and just be honest and transparent. People really value that versus kind of like just tell them something that is not true, or is not necessarily like, they will be like, oh my God, don't have to say that, just tell me honestly, it's fine. We all at some point don't feel bad about telling your story and being honest, because good people will remember the times when the times were tough. Okay. And those are the folks that you want to associate with. You want to associate with people that will develop, that have empathy, that actually care. And those are the folks that don't really care. They're not interested in what you can offer them, but how can they help you? If you come in a genuine way, if you show yourself honestly, and you say, hey, this is what I'm right now going through, and most people will be like, oh my gosh, yes, absolutely, what can I do? So don't feel bad. They really, most people really want to help others. So just come across honest and genuine.
Augusto, that is wonderful. Thank you so much. Friends, love to hear from you in the chat. How are you feeling now after today's session? And what is one, or maybe there are two things that you're taking away from this session today? Go ahead and let us know in the chat. Augusto, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for being here today. I want to highlight that every Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern, so same time, same place, we have a focus on mental health and meditation. And so you can find us back here on Monday at 1 p.m. But before then, we're going to go slide right past Augusto now. We have our Friday focus this week is on these apprenticeships that I mentioned. And if you're curious at all about that, or someone who might be curious, please pass along the information to them. This is taken from our weekly menu that we send every Monday. And again, these are paid apprenticeships and opportunities to pivot to maybe a new sector or a new industry. And so we would love for you to join us this Friday. Augusto, thank you. Friends, we look forward to being in touch with you. We look forward to seeing you again very soon, hopefully this Friday, and maybe some of you even tonight. Remember that if you did not get a chance to come to our happy hour tonight, but even if you live in the DMV area and you end up gathering some friends together before the weekend, let us know. We are going to announce the winners for our contests later this week, or we'll announce them on Sunday. So if you're in the area, join us, post a photo, tag us in it, and you'll be entered to win an area restaurant gift card. If you are not in the area, or if you're in the area and you don't get to come tonight, organize something, post a photo, tag us in it, and you'll be entered to win an awesome gift box from Dare Gifts. I'm going to actually just pop their website in the chat so you can take a look and see. If it's a dear friend of mine who runs this company, and they just have the most wonderful gift boxes. So I cannot wait to send one of these out to one of our Wellfed members. Thank you, friends, for joining us. We hope to see you very, very soon. And Sherry, thanks for saying you like the storytelling suggestion. It's so great. It can feel awkward. Yeah, just to be genuine and nice. Oh, actionable insights. And Mira, thank you for sharing that call to action in your elevator pitch. Yeah, I love that. Love that you're going to incorporate that. Jesse, thanks for being here. Friends, it was wonderful to see you. We hope that you leave feeling well fed. Ryan, thank you for that feedback. That's awesome. Yes, using those AI tools. Augusto, Albert, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.
For a
Thank you,
wonderful
Rebecca.
session, a much needed session. Oh, Nicole, I'm so glad to see your beautiful profile pic again. Great to have you here. Annette, thanks for being here. And Marie, always great to see your name. Sherry, Erin, thanks for coming today. We had 2 Erins in here. I love it. That's my sister's name. Sharon, thank you for joining. It's great to have you here. We look forward to seeing you next time.
Thanks, everyone. Have a wonderful afternoon.
Thank you.
Bye.
Albert. Thanks, Augusto. See you next time, friend.